Hi everyone, my name's Theo Lynn. I'm going to be talking to you about sensors. I feel like I've brought a knife to a gunfight because I'm a cloud guy going to talk about sensors here. But the reason I want to talk about sensors is really around this idea of the Internet of Things, and particularly the Internet of Everything. And what are we interested in doing this in terms of the cloud is because sensors are a spark plug really for the Internet of Everything. And really what we're looking at is this huge opportunity of, in the next couple of years, we're going to connect about 20 billion IoT devices. And that that looks like a big number, but it actually only represents about 1.4% of all physically connected objects. So whether you're in industry, you're running manufacturing, you're going to have sensors across your manufacturing or supply chain, or you're in health, you're going to have body area networks. So we see this vision of where it's going. And I come from the private sector, so the first question I always ask is this a large, scalable market? This is basically an $18, $19 trillion opportunity. So this is a huge opportunity. So even if you get a small chunk of this particular business, you're making lots of money. I'm from a business school, so I'm not particularly interested in technology. I'm interested in how much money are you guys going to make, and then how does that come back in? So I look at this as whether you're in the public sector, it's a big opportunity. If you're in the private sector, you're in a big opportunity. And the key thing here is Ireland is incredibly well positioned to exploit this opportunity. Just talking about it for a second is sensors are way down there. They're an operational technology. So they're a technology that we know very well. And we've had a number of breakthroughs in the last 20 years in terms of cost, form factor, size and weight, and then performance, what we can do with these types of sensors. And the key driver for that is nearly everyone sitting at your table. How many people have your phone there? Put up your phone in the air. Go, don't be shy. Yeah, look, you've all got sensors on you right now, and it's taking up information. So we all have sensors, right? And when you think of, by the time a sensor is in your hand as a consumer, we really should be exploiting it on a much larger scale in our businesses. And when we think about sensors, you have to think about information utility. So pretty much everything we do right now is like raw data. We pull up loads of data from these sensors. We're not quite sure what we're going to do with that data, but we have lots of it. And obviously motion detection. So I just came back from China. We climbed the Great Wall, climbed 100 stories. So we quantify everything we do now in terms of these sensors. And then activity monitoring, that's quite related. But the big kahuna here, where we make lots of businesses around context awareness and intent prediction. So if you're in industrial 4.0 settings, you're able to not only sense what's going on in your manufacturing process, but that sensor is able to actuate decisions. Whether, if you're in a health situation, it's aware of the context that maybe an elderly person or a person with dementia is in, and it's able to actually alert people and take decisions. So sensors have a lot of information utility, and we only use a fraction of that today. And here we are, we're down here, right at the bottom. We call this the edge. And this is where the cloud center comes into it, because when we think about sensors, and there are front line of getting data in industrial settings, in smart cities, etc. Actually, that creates huge spikes. And what we're doing with Intel and British Telecom and a whole variety of other people is designing new cloud infrastructures that optimize to give you that user experience that Orla talked about earlier on. Now, the key thing here is sensors actually determine a whole load of other system decisions. If you're into augmented reality and virtual reality, for instance, you need sensors that are going to give you very fast sampling rates so that you're actually able to experience that really fast and that you can actually make decisions quicker. If you're, for instance, Shimmer are going to be out in the stand, say, Shimmer have biodiagnostic harnesses for health situations or accelerometers. They're taking up data every couple of milliseconds. So it's a vast amount of data, and you don't want to transfer that all in to the cloud all at once. So you want to actually set it up and transfer that in the most efficient way possible. So there's a whole variety of opportunities just thinking about the cloud and how do you process sensor data. And that's the key thing to understand is when we talk about sensors, we're actually talking about innovations in big data analytics, innovations in cloud computing, processing to make that better. And in terms of applications, the key thing to remember is sensors, big data analytics, Internet of Everything. It's called the Internet of Everything because it impacts everything, okay? The clue is in the name. So, you're talking about machine-to-machine interfaces. So Pete here is probably an expert in that, or Aspie, so lots of Irish companies who are specialized in that, so Tech-Enable and Aspie are good people to talk about. Human-machine interfaces, industrial networkings, how do you analyze, take Siemens, all these masks and stuff that they have all around, how do we make them more efficient? So the key thing here is whether you're in health, education, consumer, this is a good opportunity. Thank you very much.